Ladies and gentlemen, as well here in the room as at home, a very, very good morning. I have to start that way because today is in Belgium the National Good Morning Day. And so I had to start with saying good morning to all of you. And now that is done, we can go a little bit further. First of all, I would like to thank Franz Bogovic, who will join us later, but also Petros Kopkalis, for having us here in the European Parliament for this event on digitalization, artificial intelligence and sustainable agriculture. And those of you who have kept an eye on what IT and technology was doing in 2023 will have noticed that artificial intelligence was everywhere, in our newspapers, in our television, on our screen. And I have to say, at an enormous speed, we have adapted. And let's say I see more and more people using ChatGPT and others. But all of a sudden, we are all using, in one or the other way, artificial intelligence. We have, let's say, the Forum for the Future of Agriculture in Brussels in March. And because of that, we thought it was interesting to have this seminar around the challenges and opportunities that digitalization and artificial intelligence represent also for the agricultural sectors. Will we still have farmers on the land? Will we still make decisions ourselves? Or will that be done by artificial intelligence? And it's following a number of discussions and a series of forthcoming events on this topic, which are or will be organized by the FAO, the World Bank, and DG Agri within the European Commission. We said, okay, we also would like to take part of the discussion and deepen the discussion that will take place during those events. And so we would like to have a look at policies, but also the future role of digitalization and data in agriculture, and how to tackle that in rural areas in Europe. And that makes that we want to focus more concretely into those areas where progress is more mature, of course, and is supporting an array of existing best practices and identify potential stumbling blocks that hamper such a progress. Now, before we go into the topic, I would say we have a number of household rules. You can follow the forum also on Twitter with the address @ForumforAg. If you would tweet something, be sure to mention the hashtag ForumforAg, and also for those listening at home, behind the screen, if you would have questions, that same hashtag ForumforAg can be used to send questions here to our speakers. Good morning, Frank. I already welcomed you in a certain way, but I have to start with good morning. For those here, please mute your mobile phones. And then the idea is that during our open dialogue and discussion sessions, everybody here can contribute. People at home can contribute making use of Twitter. And you can ask questions. There is no translation, so I have to ask you to do that in English. And those who are contributing, I will ask, please introduce yourself, who you are, for which organization you're here, before you ask your question. We will be making a number of pictures and we will be streaming the event. So the recording will be available on the ForumforAg website at the end of the week. If you would oppose to be photographed, please hide immediately. I have opening words coming from two people. That is on the right-hand side, Tassos Aniotis, and on my left, but for you to the right, Member of the European Parliament, Frank Bogovic. The first one who will share his task with us is Tassos Aniotis. He's a special advisor for sustainable productivity for the Forum for the Future of Agriculture. But of course, most of the people here in the room know Tassos Aniotis because he had a 33-year career in the European Commission as a Director of Strategy, Simplification and Policy Analysis in the Directorate General for Agriculture of the European Commission. Tassos, you are the first one to discuss the topic, please.
Thank you very much. Welcome and good morning, everybody. It's a bit strange in jumping in an issues like that in my new shoes. It's double shoes because I have also been having some guest scholarship with the International Institute of Applied System Analysis in Vienna. And the focus of what I'm doing is exactly on issues related to sustainable productivity. So my very brief introduction and angle is going to be on this particular issue, on this topic. But I will start with the notion of, an idea that exists, that it's a new world out there. But the thing is, whether it's such a new world or it's a world that we now get to grasp on understanding some of these implications. As already Jürgen mentioned before, it's hardly a day passes in the news without a reference, not so much about digitalization anymore, but about artificial intelligence. Some of these references are on the very optimistic side. I think it was last week when I read about Bill Gates mentioning medical applications that are stemming from artificial intelligence and how much greater our life is going to be. Some others are looking on the risks of upsetting in a big way the work environment. The IMF recent report, which indicates the potentiality of putting at risk about half of all the jobs we know in the developed world and about a third of what is in the developing world, are looking more on the negative and risky side. The reality is always neither black nor white. I'm not even sure it's in shades of gray. It's probably all sort of colors and in between things. And every technology comes with its risks. Technologies are by themselves neutral. Their applications are anything but neutral. So it's their uses that should be of our concern. But because this is not a general debate about digitalization, artificial intelligence, but one that is linked to agriculture, I would like to start with mentioning that agriculture has always been at the forefront of many technological developments, and especially of digital applications. You mentioned before that I had over a 30-year career in the European Commission. In the beginning of this career, I still remember vividly the first satellite images we were getting, and we're using it for yield projections. We're talking about the early 90s. Pierluigi Londero, that is sitting there, followed me in some of these things. We're talking about images that were coming once a month, and you could hardly recognize the shades in between. And if you look at what we get from satellite imagery today, you see not only the enormous progress that has been made, but also because of the dramatic change in the frequency every few days and also in the resolution that we get, but also in the type of uses that are being made. And Europe should be very proud of being at the frontier of that, because I've been around in many conferences and I've heard from Americans on yields to Canadians on actually improving their statistical methods, how they use the Copernicus system to improve what they're doing. Because one of the big differences of our digital applications is they're open to the public. I'm pretty sure the Americans and the Chinese have very good satellites, but their uses are kept more secret. Now, digitalization is about data handling. And multiple applications of digitalization increase productivity throughout the food chain. And I think we will have examples of that in the discussion later on. And they provide an enormous potential for sustainable productivity by merging the economic and the environmental benefits of digitalization and artificial intelligence. And a lot of the work I'm doing with IASA demonstrates that. But it always, these benefits come with an increasing social cost, because it increases the gap of knowledge and application between those that are closer to these technologies and those that are staying more behind. So basically here one could ask the question, and to put it in more recent terms based on the recent movie, have we reached our Oppenheimer moment? Has the genie gone out of the bottle? I mean, if you just Google the term, the difference between analog and digital is analog was transferring data in waves, while digital does it in a binary mode. Yet it is a digital that has generated the real waves in terms of innovation. And it is exactly this wave and this speed of innovation that generates the risks and the fears. I don't see out there a real trend for a Luddite response. We're not breaking our smartphones. But the concerns are real. And that's exactly why there are plenty of issues that need to be addressed and need to be discussed to minimize these risks and maximize the benefits. That's why I find the opportunity that we'll have today a very interesting one, especially with respect of what is at the core of these fears, which is the relationship between the public use and the private use or misuse. And with that, as an introductory, I would like to stop here and thank you for your attention.
Thank you very much, Tassos. I go to the other side of the table with Frank Bogovic, member of the European Parliament for the European People's Party. Let's say the nice thing is that we have someone who has been a Minister of Agriculture, but also someone who is an agriculture engineer. So at least a politician who should know what he's talking about. But you can decide yourself, because I give the floor to Frank, please.
Okay. Good morning and thanks for this introduction. And I can add here that I'm also a small farmer, and I'm very proud that yesterday my son take over the farm. So that this is good thing in the agri sector, what is very important. And I'm really very close to the farmers and also close to rural areas in where I live, where I will live, and where I will stay. And I was also mayor 13 years in the city with, among other things, also nuclear power plant, but mostly rural areas and connected with agriculture. So these topics are very important, and on the base of this, I started in my first term, that's my second, in the years 2016-2017 to debate about smart villages. This debate started with Commissioner Hogan, who understood very well what it means, and he prepared these ideas about smart villages, and together with other colleagues in the European Parliament, we really worked a lot on these topics. And it is connected with this that first, at the year 2016, we all spoke about smart cities concepts. And at that time, I asked myself what we must do that we will not have this bigger gap between rural and urban areas. And the first thing was connectivity, quality broadband. As I said, I was mayor. We built optical fibers, broadband in my municipality with 28,000 people, so that farmers 800 meters high in the hills, they have fiber connectivity. And at that time, they didn't know what we are working. But during the COVID time, they recognized what we did and how important are these topics. So in this topic about smart villages, we spoke about broadband, we spoke about mobility in rural areas, what to do that older people have access to mobility. In my country, there are many applications where in support with municipalities and volunteers. People over 65 in rural areas, they have free rights to the cultural events, to the hospitals, to other things. So it's very important, e-health in rural areas, social care for older people in rural areas. If you have services, if you have connectivity, you can organize that they can stay at home. Otherwise, they go in the cities. We spoke a lot about energy sector, connecting smart grids, solar panels, this connectivity, everything needs some digital support. And so I said that this is very important. If I come to agriculture sector, I can say that I really, as I said, in COVID crisis, we recognized how important it is. And it was increase of many applications also in the field of connection between producers and consumers. These digital platforms, it start to work. How important it was also, we know, for the tourism in rural areas. And also precision farming is more and more important also in my country. As I said, I'm a farmer, I'm apple producer, and in the storage, when the sorting machine use these sensors, digital tools, and it's much more efficient. You can get the price of apples on the base of the sorting machine, not of your opinion, of opinion of my those company who buy these apples. And also, there are many cases all around Europe, also in my country, where we can, on practical way, show what it means do more with less. Mm-hmm. My brother has a dairy farm, and using a robot which is connected with feeding machine, we can see how it's more efficient, how the cows which have more milk get more feed, and so it's a practical way to see. Spraying machines. There are many in Slovenia. We also have good cooperation between university in Ljubljana and National Environmental Agency, and they developed the model where is using also artificial intelligence to prognose for irrigation system. It's all connected with few sensors with central system, and you get advices each day if it's necessary or not. Also on the base of the water in the soil, and on the base of the prognosis for the weather for a few days. So there are also many other things about fertilizers which are in connection, as my colleague Taniotis said, connected with Tassos Faniotis said about connected with these satellites, and it's spraying, that it's not doubling, and other things. So we have a lot of good cases in which already exist. What I think for the future, what is necessary to recognize that all these tools are sometimes or usually very expensive. And the capacity of this machinery and other things is much bigger than the size of European farmers. So I think that here is the problem that we have, especially also in my country, mentality that each farmer must own his own machinery. And here I think is one of very important things, how to change this mentality and starting to use about this using services, not buying machinery. I think this is one of very important topic, and which can be also supported with European tools. To buying this machinery have advantage those who are connected, who show you that he will machinery which have capacity, I don't know, for 500 hectares, that it can fertilize it, that there are farmers behind him, and that they are advanced. So I think one of the very important topic is now access to these machineries. On one side, development of these platforms, development of technology, and I see that business is interested. There are opportunities, but on another side, also farmers and agriculture policy must answer in this way, that there will be push to work together, to cooperate, and to have access to these services. There are also many things we will speak later about cybersecurity, data ownership, other things, which are important things. But as I said, I started my career as advisor in advisory sector for farmers. And for me, always was the best way and best strategy. First, find who are the best and work with them. And here, I think if we speak about precision farming, artificial intelligence, digitalizations, for sure young farmers are the best because they understand these topics, and we should be focused on them and give them an opportunity that they show how we will change also our agriculture sector, that it will be more sustainable. And I will finish with this little critical about things which was done in last 4 or 5 years. We will not get trust at farmers level back if we will repeat them what they do wrong. And they will poison soil, they will poison water, European cows will destroy the world. This is not the right way. The right way is that we get alliance with young farmers, with all farmers, but especially with young farmers, and show in which direction we can go. And here, digital tools, artificial intelligence, precision farming is one of the very important tools. We must go on this positive side, and through these tools, through innovation, we can ensure all three pillars of sustainability. And with this, I will conclude.
Thank you very much. First of all, congratulations with your son taking over. Secondly, you're calling yourself a small farmer, but we hear immediately that also that small farmer is in the middle of digitalization and of all of those aspects related to that, and that also that small farmer will not be able to escape all of the technological development.